Imagine a world where every action, every thought, and even every emotion is monitored and controlled by an all-powerful, oppressive regime. In 1984, George Orwell constructs a dystopian future in which individuality is crushed, freedom is an illusion, and the government, led by the elusive Big Brother, exercises total control over reality itself. Orwell's vision is not just a story about surveillance but a chilling warning about the dangers of authoritarianism, propaganda, and the erosion of truth. Through the experiences of Winston Smith, a man desperate to reclaim his personal autonomy, Orwell exposes the terrifying power of totalitarianism and the lengths to which it can manipulate reality and identity. The essence, 80/20, total surveillance and thought control. In Orwell's world, the government of Oceania, led by Big Brother, watches its citizens' every move through telescreens and surveillance networks. The thought police enforce loyalty by rooting out dissent, even in private thoughts, ensuring that citizens conform in mind and body. This surveillance is not only physical but psychological, aiming to control and limit independent thinking, so rebellion is impossible, even internally. Language as a tool of oppression. Newspeak. The party uses a controlled language, newspeak, to restrict thought. By reducing and altering the vocabulary, the regime eliminates the possibility of rebellious ideas. Newspeak is designed to eradicate complex and dissenting thoughts, as it restricts the range of expression available to people. Orwell shows how language, when manipulated, becomes a powerful instrument of control, enabling the government to rewrite history and reshape reality. The erasure of truth and reality. The party constantly rewrites historical records and alters facts to suit its narrative. Through this, Orwell explores the fragility of truth in a world where reality is manipulated to maintain power. Winston's job at the Ministry of Truth involves altering historical documents, erasing people from existence, and creating new versions of events to support the party's ever-changing propaganda. This constant revision of history traps citizens in a cycle of lies, robbing them of a sense of the past, which effectively obliterates any hope for the future. The destruction of individuality and relationships. In 1984, the party suppresses personal relationships to prevent loyalties that might compete with loyalty to the state. Romantic relationships are discouraged or tightly controlled, and families are mistrustful, with children trained to report any signs of disloyalty in their parents. Winston's forbidden relationship with Julia represents his attempt to reclaim personal freedom and intimacy, though it's ultimately doomed by the oppressive reach of the state. The crushing of rebellion and hope. Winston's journey reflects the devastating power of authoritarianism to destroy even the most deeply held personal beliefs. Despite his efforts to rebel, Winston ultimately succumbs to the party's control after enduring torture and psychological manipulation. His spirit is broken to the point where he accepts the party's version of reality, even proclaiming his love for Big Brother, illustrating the regime's power to extinguish any spark of rebellion or independent thought. The action plan. Value and protect personal freedoms. Orwell's novel is a reminder of the importance of preserving personal freedom and autonomy. Recognize the value of privacy and the right to think and express oneself freely, as these are fundamental to individual identity and democracy. Protecting these freedoms, both in personal and societal contexts, is crucial to preventing the kind of extreme control depicted in 1984. Stay informed and critical of information. In a world where information is increasingly controlled or manipulated, it's important to develop critical thinking skills and question the sources of information. Orwell warns against blind acceptance of truth without inquiry, urging readers to evaluate facts and seek out multiple perspectives. Staying informed and discerning truth from propaganda is essential to maintaining an independent understanding of the world. Safeguard language and expression. Recognize the power of language as a means of freedom and self-expression. Orwell's depiction of newspeak reminds us that the ability to express a wide range of ideas is central to human freedom. Protecting language diversity, creativity, and open dialogue is essential to ensuring that society retains the ability to question, dissent, and innovate. Foster personal connections and empathy. The party in 1984 isolates individuals and breaks down family bonds to eliminate opposition. In contrast, fostering strong personal connections and empathy is a counterforce to isolation and control. By prioritizing meaningful relationships and communities, individuals can resist the pull of authoritarian control and create a buffer against manipulation. Support transparent and accountable leadership. Orwell's novel highlights the dangers of unchecked power and unaccountable leadership. Encourage and support systems of governance that prioritize transparency, accountability, and individual rights. An informed, empowered population is key to maintaining a society where leaders serve the public good rather than their own agendas. Blind spot. One potential critique of 1984 is that Orwell's vision, while compelling, may seem overly bleak and absolute, leaving little room for hope or resistance. While the novel effectively warns against authoritarianism, it may overlook the resilience of human spirit and the possibility of meaningful resistance. In reality, history shows that people often find ways to resist even the most oppressive regimes, suggesting that the desire for freedom can sometimes overcome extreme control. Connected Knowledge, Brave New World, by Aldous Huxley. Huxley's dystopian novel explores a different kind of control, where society is kept compliant through pleasure and distraction rather than fear and surveillance. Brave New World and 1984 offer contrasting visions of dystopia, each illuminating different aspects of control and human freedom. Fahrenheit 451 Inches by Ray Bradbury. This novel examines a society where books are banned, and intellectualism is discouraged, serving as another cautionary tale about the dangers of censorship and the suppression of thought. Bradbury's work emphasizes the importance of intellectual freedom, a theme that resonates with Orwell's warnings in 1984. The Handmaid's Tale, by Margaret Atwood. Atwood's novel presents a society where authoritarianism is justified through religious doctrine, exploring the suppression of individual rights and the consequences of absolute control. Like 1984, it shows how extreme ideologies can strip individuals of freedom and identity, while also offering a glimpse of hope and resistance. Let's delve deeper into some of the symbols in 1984 and explore how Orwell's warnings resonate in today's digital age, where technology plays an increasingly powerful role in surveillance, information control, and individual autonomy. Key symbols in 1984. Big Brother. Big Brother symbolizes the omnipresent authority of the party. His face, often displayed on posters with the phrase, "Big Brother is watching you," is a constant reminder of the party's control over every aspect of life. Big Brother is both a figurehead and a psychological tool, creating a culture of fear and loyalty. People never see Big Brother in person, suggesting that he may not exist, but his influence permeates every corner of society, symbolizing the terrifying power of total surveillance and control over truth. Telescreens. Telescreens are the party's primary tools for surveillance and propaganda, installed in every home and public space. They constantly broadcast party messages while monitoring citizens' every action and even expressions. These devices symbolize the erosion of privacy and the extent of the party's reach. They are Orwell's prescient vision of a surveillance state, where technology is used not to connect people but to control and manipulate them. Room 101. Room 101 is the place where the party subjects individuals to their worst fears as a form of psychological torture, breaking down any remaining resistance. For Winston, Room 101 represents the ultimate betrayal of his identity and values. It symbolizes the lengths to which totalitarian systems will go to maintain power by instilling absolute fear, proving that no one can remain unaffected by such control. The paperweight. The glass paperweight, which Winston buys at a shop in the Prole district, symbolizes his longing for a personal past and a world untouched by party control. The paperweight's beauty and fragility represent Winston's fragile hope for freedom, individuality, and connection, especially with Julia. When the thought police shatter the paperweight, it symbolizes the destruction of Winston's dreams and the party's ability to crush even small acts of rebellion. Newspeak. Newspeak is the language invented by the party to eliminate the possibility of rebellious thoughts. By reducing the language's complexity, the party seeks to limit the range of ideas people can express and therefore even think. Newspeak represents the power of language as a tool for control. Without words to express dissent or freedom, the concepts themselves become almost unthinkable. Newspeak's gradual replacement of Old Speak, Standard English, shows how the party aims to control not only actions but also thoughts. 1984's relevance in the digital age. Surveillance and privacy. Today's digital landscape mirrors some aspects of Orwell's surveillance state. While we don't have telescreens in every home, modern technology like smartphones, cameras, and social media often serve as tools for surveillance, whether through government monitoring, data collection by corporations, or invasive advertising practices. Orwell's warnings about the dangers of mass surveillance remind us of the need for strict privacy regulations and awareness of how much personal data is collected. Manipulation of information and truth. Orwell's concept of double-think, holding two contradictory beliefs, and the manipulation of information is alarmingly relevant in today's era of misinformation, fake news, and media spin. The idea that reality can be constantly rewritten to serve those in power is seen in digital echo chambers, where algorithms feed users only the information that aligns with their beliefs. In this landscape, discerning objective truth becomes difficult, echoing Orwell's idea of a manipulated reality. Language and social control. Newspeak's goal of eliminating dangerous ideas by shrinking language foreshadows how language and expression can be restricted or reshaped in subtle ways. Today, social media platforms often influence how people communicate, from character limits to censorship policies. Additionally, Orwell's warnings about the control of language serve as a reminder to protect free expression and encourage diverse perspectives, which are essential to resisting authoritarian tendencies. Psychological manipulation and propaganda. In 1984, constant propaganda instills fear and loyalty in citizens. Today, targeted advertising and media manipulation can shape public opinion and behavior in subtle but impactful ways. Just as Orwell describes a populist condition to follow the party's narrative, today's algorithms and personalized content can subtly reinforce beliefs and nudge people towards specific actions, often with commercial or political motivations. This highlights the need for digital literacy and critical thinking in the age of information overload. Loss of individuality and social connection. The party's efforts to isolate people and prevent deep, meaningful relationships reflect concerns about how digital connectivity can paradoxically lead to isolation. In 1984, true personal connections are forbidden as they threaten loyalty to the party. Similarly, modern social media can sometimes replace genuine interaction with surface-level connections, while excessive screen time can isolate individuals. Orwell's focus on the importance of real human connection underscores the value of maintaining genuine relationships in a tech-dominated world. Concluding thoughts on Orwell's warning. Orwell's 1984 is a stark reminder of how technology and government power, when unchecked, can erode personal freedom, manipulate truth, and undermine humanity's fundamental values. His vision encourages readers to stay vigilant about the balance between technology and privacy, and between convenience and personal agency. By being aware of these issues, individuals and societies can take steps to protect the freedoms that Orwell feared could be lost to authoritarianism and technological control.